Hi, this is Kim. I'm back again, and I wanted to review a homework assignment that I gave you about retirement plans. So, in your homework, you had a list of several different retirement plans, and I asked you to do a bit of research based on an example that I gave you about information that we needed. So, I just want to go over that because you have a couple questions on your last quiz that relate to retirement. Like you to know the answers because they're so much easier to grade. First type of retirement plans I talked about were pension pay, pension plans. The first one being Social Security. Again, Social Security is our nation's retirement plan. We pay into Social Security through our salary, and our employer matches our contribution as well. So the idea with Social Security is that it's meant to be a partial partial amount of money that you have available to you at retirement. And typically now normal retirement age is 67, although you can take Social Security early at 62, but the payment will be permanently reduced. Permanently reduced. On the flip side, you could wait and put off taking Social Security until age 70 or any age older than 67 and actually receive an increased benefit of about 8% per year. So it's worth thinking about this. I know most of you are not anywhere close to Social Security age, and when you get to that point, please do some research. Next, we have a pension plans offered here in the state of California by through education, local and state government. We have the big CalSTRS and CalPERS here in California. You individuals who work in these types of organizations contribute to these pensions plans based on a predetermined amount set by CalSTRS and CalPERS. In other words, you don't have any say. You contribute or you don't contribute at all. Also, you don't have any choice in types of assets or investments. Pension plans take care of all that for you, and they calculate your pension based on a formula. The formula is right here, and again, it's years of service and age factor and some amount of monthly salary that you finished with when you retired. So, although these are great and we love to have them, I should mention that they are becoming more expensive for employees. STRS and plans, regular increases in the amount I need to contribute to my retirement plan, for example, and that is expected to go up in the future. Other states in our nation have eliminated pension plans because of their expense. Long time ago, pension plans existed and employers and employees contributed into them. And then when you retired, you lived about 5 or 10 years and your pension paid you a monthly payment. Well, modern medical technology keeps us alive now for significantly longer, and pensions have to pay out up to 10, 20 years longer than expected. So it's become a huge expense, and therefore pensions are going away. The next set of plans is called defined contribution. So defined contributions, including the most popular 401k, these are types of plans where the company may or may not contribute to a retirement plan on your behalf, but you certainly have the option to contribute through payroll into a company-sponsored plan. Now I'm going to talk about those next. Here they are right here, or most that we need to know for this class. The first one is the 401k. And I have on here the 401k with a match because if your company offers a 401k with a match, you take it. If the match is 4%, contribute 4%, 5%, 5%, etc. Because that's free money. Typically, a match works like this. The company says, if you contribute to your retirement account, we are going to match the first 4 to 6% of your contributions, 4 to 6% of your salary, not to exceed this amount of $18,000. So when you give a dollar, they give a dollar. Or even when you give a dollar, they might give 50 cents or 25 cents. It doesn't really matter. In any of those situations, they're providing you with free money, and we don't give up free money. We take it. So make sure you always go up to the match. Once again, there's a lot of 401ks out there that do not offer a match. And when that happens, I'd really like you to consider the Roth IRA, which I'll talk about later. So, types of investments in 401k plans are almost exclusively mutual funds. In some cases, you will be able to buy company stock, but mostly it's a list of mutual funds, which you all know what those are, and you will pick different mutual fund investments based on your risk tolerance, asset allocation goals, and of course, your research on how well the fund has performed over time. Tax implications of 401ks is that they're tax deferred, which means you contribute to them now and they are subtracted from your gross income, and you don't pay taxes on these accounts until you retire and start taking the money out. You can begin withdrawing at 59 and a half, but you can push it off until age 70.5 if you don't want to use the money. At 70.5, the government has had enough and they say you need to start taking withdrawals from this account so they can tax you. After the 401k with a match, we have then just regular 401k, 403b, and 457. These are all tax codes, remember, so just different categories of companies, be a public company or private company, and this might be not-for-profit or education, and then this would be government, although these two interchange quite a bit. Uh, Besides not having a match, that everything else is pretty much the same. You receive a list of mutual funds to purchase. The annual amount is $18,000 a year, and the tax implications are tax deferred. Okay? Now, let's say your company does not have a retirement plan. You still have options. As long as you have earned income, in other words, you had a job and you made some money, you can contribute to an IRA, an individual retirement account. The the primary type for most students in here is a Roth IRA. It's just a name. It's a type of retirement account where employees, or not employees, but individuals contribute up to your earned income amount. So that's any amount up to your earned income amount. So let's say for 2015 you worked at a summer job and you made $1,500. You could contribute up to $1,500 in your Roth, but you can't contribute anything over that because you didn't earn that money, and this is based on earned income. Your contributions are made with after-tax dollars. So unlike company-sponsored plans, which are pre-tax dollars, this is an after-tax contribution. Now you're probably thinking, well, that's not very good, but the other benefit of a Roth is that all the growth in the account, capital gains, and any divs, interest, etc., are never taxed at all. So, yes, you make after tax contributions, but all of the gain in those accounts is tax free, which is pretty significant. Right now, most of you are in a low tax bracket. You're working part-time because your major effort right now is towards school, but you do have a part-time job and you want to start a retirement account. So you open up a Roth and you contribute like you're paying a bill with after-tax money. But again, over time, all of those gains tax-free. Huge. I guess my rule of thumb is if you qualify for a Roth, you take it. However, the 401k with the match is first. Never giving up free money. Contribute up to the match. Then if you have extra money for retirement, because you know how important this is, then you can open up a Roth and contribute to your Roth. You can do both in the same tax year. Now, another advantage of a Roth is that, I hope you can really learn this. Uh, Anything that you contribute to a Roth is considered principal. Your contributions are principal. And then what you earn would be the earnings. You can withdraw the principal from your Roth at any time, tax-free and penalty-free, minus a 30-day holding period at the beginning. So given that, it kind of serves as an emergency fund for some of you. And then if it's not needed for an emergency fund, the money can also be used to, think about this, to use for a down payment on your first house. So let's say you open up a Roth right now and you contribute to it, and over the year you've contributed $1,000, and then it earns 10%, so now it's worth $1,100. If you had a major emergency, you could get to the $1,000. You could take it out tax-free and penalty-free. You cannot take out the earnings, the extra $100, unless you have a qualifying event. And a qualifying event might be a hardship, some severe hardship, but it could be something fantastic, such as your first home purchase. For your first home purchase, you can take out up to $10,000 worth of earnings in your Roth, and that's pretty cool. That's something that is beneficial for you. So, and then if you don't need the money for your first time home purchase, again, your Roth is sitting there for retirement and you keep contributing to it. I've been setting up a lot of Roth accounts for students over the last 2 weeks, and we're setting up monthly contributions. They don't have to be that large. With those monthly contributions, we're making purchases in exchange traded funds for investments. And again, we'll do this over time with compounding, and you'll have a nice little nest egg if you can keep up this practice. So those are the benefits of a Roth. Types of investments for Roth? Well, once you contribute to this account called Roth, you can invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cash, whatever you want. I say here it's wide open. Real estate is possible, but it's difficult and it has to be done through an uh, outside agency. So let's stick with what we know. If you want to buy your individual stocks, some of you risk takers do, you can do that. Most of you are leaning towards the broad market exchange traded funds, and I think that's awesome. So you have choices in here. You put the money in, you invest it. There's not a list of mutual funds for you to select from. That's only in the company sponsored plans. The unfortunate, I think unfortunate uh, issue surrounding a Roth is that you can only contribute $5,500 a year instead of the tax company sponsored $18,000 per year. Well, how unfair is that? But that's the way it is, and so we're going to roll with it. You can contribute up to $5,500 a year, but remember that you have to earn at least $5,500 a year to contribute that amount. Again, tax implications, tax-free earnings forever, and also no required withdrawal date. So since you don't have to pay taxes on anything in a Roth, the government doesn't care when you start to take out your money. So again, pretty cool. Let's say you've been contributing a Roth, you're 20 right now. Over time you contributed to your Roth each year, and then you got a full-time job and you contributed to your 401k with a match, and now it's all said and done and you're 60 years old and you have two buckets of money. You have $1 million in your 401k and you have $1 million in your Roth IRA. And let's go on to say that we have a ridiculous federal government system that increased our tax rates to high tax brackets being around 90%. So tax rates are just outrageous on income. Well, what are you going to choose? Are you going to take that 401k that with every withdrawal it's taxable, or are you going to take your Roth? Because when you take money out of your Roth, there is no tax implication. So think about that. We have choices, and choices are wonderful things to have at any time in our life. Let's set up those choices now. Qualify for a Roth, you do it, and then when you have your 401k with a match, you do that too. Okay, moving on. Not as lucrative as a Roth is a traditional IRA, and again, these are for folks who they may or may not have a retirement plan at work, but the annual amount is still $5,500. By the way, you can't double this. You can't do a Roth and a traditional. You can only do one or the other. So again, if you qualify for the Roth, you do that. But if you don't, because you make too much money, people who make too much money exceed the income limits for a Roth. I think for a single person, it's 100 and something thousand dollars. So most of us are okay. Uh, Traditional annual amount again is $5,500, and the tax implications is that it's just tax deferred. So it's not tax free, but it's tax deferred. There is a potential tax deduction, but I'm really leaning towards a Roth. Okay, next we have a rollover. Rollover IRA is a test question, so please pay attention here. You work for a company, you've been contributing to your 401k, and then you quit that job. What do you do now with the money that's left in your 401k? Well, you have some options. Many times your company will allow you to leave it, so you can leave it with your old company's sponsored plan. But you can't continue to make investments, but you can leave it invested. So that's one choice. The second thing you might do is roll it over to your new employer's company sponsored plan. And you can do that. You can move one 401k to another 401k. As long as you're working with that company, you can move the money over. So that's the second option. The third and worst option is that you could cash it out. Well, let's say that you cash out your 401k. That all that money was tax deferred when it went in. So in the year that you cash it out, you have to put all of that money into your taxable income, and you're going to pay taxes on it. And if it was a large sum of money, it's going to be a huge tax bill. And we don't want to do that. That is the worst possible thing you can do with a 401k. So it's easy to roll over. Let's say you want to roll it over to just a rollover account. You can call it a rollover account. Now, that was the third option. So you can leave it with your company, you can transfer it to your new company's 401k, or you can open up a rollover IRA. So for example, you could go to Vanguard, open an account, rollover IRA. On the application form, it'll ask you, well, where is the money now? You say it's in my old company's 401k, and you provide them with the account number and the balance and a statement, and then you let Vanguard go get the money, or Fidelity, or any other company you have a preference for. They will go get the money. They'll bring the money back to your rollover account, and then you can invest it. And at that time, you can put it in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs, money market accounts, etc. You have the option, just like with any other IRA. So lots of people have rollovers, and in your life you may switch jobs 3, 4, or 5 times, which means you could have a 401k plan 5 different times. But when you leave these companies, you may consider just setting up a rollover IRA, and then each time you leave, roll the money over into another tax advantaged account and keep it invested until you retire. The spousals are so cool. Uh, if you are married and you file a joint tax return and you have a non-working spouse, for example, a spouse who's taking care of children or a spouse who is going to school full time, this spouse can also contribute to a Roth IRA or a traditional, Roth or traditional, based on the working record of the spouse who is employed. Okay, so let me try to explain this. So let's say two of you are married, and wife works and she makes $50,000 a year, and husband is going to school full time. As long as wife makes over $5,500 a year for her Roth and another $5,500 a year for spouse's Roth, both can contribute the maximum amount. And since the working spouse made $50,000 a year, both husband and wife can contribute the maximum amount per year, or anything up to the maximum amount per year. It could be $100. It doesn't have to be 55, but any amount in between. So the idea is that the non-working spouse is not penalized and that they can have their own retirement accounts. I think this is awesome. So everybody needs retirement money in their own name, even a non-working spouse. Again, investments, since it's IRA, you're able to pick whatever you want. Tax implications for a spousal Roth are the same as regular Roth and for traditional, and the annual amount is $1,500. Okay, last retirement plan I'm going to talk about is a SEP. Some of you are self-employed. A couple of you, I think, in my regular classes. And a SEP can be greatly beneficial because it reduces your taxable income in the year you contribute to the SEP. And check this out. The annual amount you can contribute is 25% of net income of your business, your self-employed business, up to an amount of $52,000. Wow. We don't see anything above here greater than $18,000. But for a sole proprietor, even if you're just working as an individual like I do for my financial planning company, I can contribute up to $50,000 a year or 25% of net income. If my 25% of net income is lower than that, that's the max that I can use. But it's really an advantage to think about it. If you have a small business, you can really sock away a lot more money than with any other retirement option listed above. Once you set up a SEP, you self-invest. So types of investments, again, wide open, you decide. And the tax implications are tax deferred until age 70 and a half. But you can take it out earlier than that. You can take it out at 59 and a half. So that's the cool thing about a SEP. And SEPs are just as easy to set up as a Roth IRA. Not too difficult. Again, though, you have to be self-employed, sole proprietor, or any other, maybe you have a partnership, something like that can benefit from a SEP. At the end of this, we talked about two types of college savings plans. California's college savings plan is called ScholarShare. 529 is at scholarshare.com. And these the 529 is like a Roth for your kid. So, or even yourself maybe. But what you do is you open up a ScholarShare plan, a 529, and when your child is born, at least that's what I did. So then you start putting money in monthly, and the money is invested in a mutual fund. It's funny I highlighted here because since I don't see you guys after this semester, I just picked for ScholarShare, if you're going to do that, pick the age-based passive fund, and that way this fund grows with your child. If this money is used for educational expenses, and that's what it's designed for, then all of the growth and earnings are tax-free, just like a Roth. Very cool. So I have these set up for my three children. So, and I've been investing in them for years and years because one of my son is in college and my daughters are juniors in high school. But it certainly helps knowing that you've been investing for this long period of time and you have money set aside for your children to go to college. So look that up. That's a great option. The second one is the Coverdell. It's a different type of college education fund, and the maximum amount is $2,000. Types of investments wide open, but the big difference between the two is that you can use Coverdell money to pay for primary and secondary school costs. So, for example, if you're going to send your kid to private high school, you can start saving for this again right after they have a social security number, and then you can use this money for private high school. Again, with the growth and earnings being tax free as long as it's used for education expenses. Okay, I'm going to talk about one more thing and then I'm signing off. This is about credit. So in class, we talk about how to take advantage of credit card companies because they've been taking advantage of us. Think about this. You hopefully have a credit card that is hooked up to a rewards program that benefits your lifestyle. So you may have a cashback rewards program, or you may have gift cards or links to companies or airlines rewards program. So in a perfect situation, you would use that credit card for your fixed expenses. So your cell phone bill goes on there, your car insurance, whatever you can charge to your credit card goes on your credit card, and then you immediately pay it when it's due. You pay off all those fixed costs because you were going to have to pay them anyway. You have to be very disciplined about this because you have to push the money aside so it's not in your checking account, knowing that this goes to your credit card. When you make those charges and make those payments, you earn rewards. And then you can turn those rewards into benefits for yourself. You earn cash back, you go buy gifts, or you buy something that you need. And in that way, you rip off the credit card companies. Because if you pay on time, which is what I do, then I earn my rewards. I don't pay any interest or fees to my credit card company, and I accumulate rewards. So that's what I did. I have a credit card. It's hooked up to a rewards program where I can get gift certificates to the Home Depot, and I charge on it and I pay it off, but I collect all the rewards. Again, don't pay any interest or fees. And then just recently, last week, I had to go buy a new refrigerator, but I was armed with $700 worth of rewards from my credit card. So I know they don't like me, but I do like them. I like them for this reason that I can take advantage of them. I want you to think about that, how you can make money off a credit card company because for a long time they've been making money off you. So again, that's a test question, so there's a hint. I'm going to sign off now. Have a great day, and I'll see you later.